In this video, we're going to be covering off the number one way you should be training to lose fat. Now, if you're new here, my name is Shannon from Shannon Bilos Fitness, and I'm here to make weight loss as easy and simple as possible. So before we get started, smash the like button, hit subscribe if you want to make your weight loss journey as easy as possible. So I've been doing personal training and coaching for a long time now, so very close to 10 years plus. And one big thing that I've noticed with clients is when they come in for a transformation or they want to start improving their health or start losing weight, is the fact that they set their expectations way too high when starting out. So when people come into the gym for the first time, they're like, I want to train 5 days a week, I want to be doing cardio, I'm going to be cutting out alcohol, I'm quitting smoking, I'm not having any sugar anymore, and it's just too much, too many changes at once. So when it comes to weight training, firstly, we want to make sure that the program that you're doing can be sustainable for the long haul. We don't want you to be in here 5 days a week if you can really only commit to say 2 or possibly 3 days a week. Now, the amount of days that I recommend most people can get into the gym is a bare minimum 2 days per week, recommended 3, and then possibly 4 should you be feeling frisky one week and you want to include an extra training session. Now, all of my clients who end up achieving huge transformations on average train anywhere from 2 to 3 days per week in the gym. Now, the style of training that I'm going to be recommending to you is always going to be weight training. And the reason I'm always biased to weight training is there are so many health benefits to it. You get to build muscle, you increase bone density, decreases risk factors as you age, it helps you look better naked, and it really doesn't take up that much time provided you're setting up your program correctly. Now, depending on how many days that you're going to be training per week, I'm going to give you an idea in terms of what you should be doing on those days. So if you're going to be doing 2 days per week, so let's say you're training on a Tuesday and then a Thursday, at the bare minimum, you want to be doing full body training every single session. Now, if you decide that you want to be doing 3 days per week, I suggest that you still do full body training every single session. Now, if you decide that you want to be doing 4 sessions per week, this is where it can change up a little bit, but again, 4 sessions per week, I would still recommend doing full body training every single session. And then if you decide that you want to split it up a little bit more, you can mix it up in terms of an upper body, lower body session, and then a rinse and repeat for 2 more days later in the week. So that would look like upper body, lower body rest, upper body, lower body. Now, when you're designing your actual training session itself, you want to be primarily focusing on your compound movements first, then your isolation movements second, and then the small muscle groups and core towards the end. To give you an example, a program that I might set up for a full body training session for a weight loss client is we might have them doing leg press and push-ups to start. Then we might have them doing pull downs and hamstring curls to follow. And then we might finish them on planks and then shoulder press. Now, the reason that we structure the program this way is the most injurious activities or the most demanding on the body always go first in your training session. This reduces the chance of injury, and this is where this is going to get the most calorie burn. And because you're going into it the most fresh, you can put the most effort into it and you get the most bang for your buck. Now, as you slightly get more fatigued as the session goes on, you can use less and less compound exercises and just fill in the gaps in terms of what muscle groups you would like to enhance the appearance of or become stronger with over time. And then as you get towards the end, this is where most people are the most tired. So this is where we put in the smaller muscle groups. So things like biceps, triceps, some shoulders. If you want to add in some extra core work, so basic planks, side planks, even a little bit of extra crunches are going to be okay if you'd like to add those in. And this is a typical full body training session. Now, if you've designed this session correctly, this should really take you no longer than anywhere from 30 to possibly 40 minutes. Now, the amount of repetitions that you should be aiming for is going to be dependent on how advanced you are, but for most people, if you're a brand new rank beginner, I would suggest most people aim for a rep range of anywhere from 10 to 15 repetitions. The reason that I suggest this is because 10 to 15 repetitions isn't a heavy enough weight that you're going to possibly cause any injuries with, and it also gives you a chance to practice the movements quite consistently. So if you only did 2 or 3 repetitions, it doesn't give you enough chance to practice it. So by performing the movement more and more often, you get better at the movement, it becomes more efficient, and then you get stronger faster. And then in terms of rest times, usually I would suggest most clients rest as much as they need to. far too many people try and keep their rest too short, anywhere from 10 to 40 seconds. And then by having such a short rest, it's going to limit the capacity in terms of how much weight you can lift the following set, because you're going into it too fatigued. So the main goal of any training session is we're trying to build as much strength and muscle as possible. And the way that we do that is we take enough rest between sets that we can lift the weight maximally every single set. So the suggested rest times I would give most people is at least 1 minute minimum, all the way up to 3 minutes between sets, depending on how heavy or what exercise that you're doing. So the bigger and the more compound the exercise, the exercises we spoke about towards the start of the session, you might take longer rests, things such as 2 or 3 minute breaks. Whereas if you're just doing some shoulders and planks, it may not be that fatiguing for you, so you can take slightly shorter rests as well. And one other common mistake that I see a lot is people changing up their routine too many times. So if you're following an online YouTuber who has 500 different workouts and it's a new workout of the day, you're never going to know if you're progressing in your strength. So what I suggest that you do is you have a very set specific program, such as an A or a B program, and then you repeat those programs every single week with the main goal of trying to beat your last session. Now, as an example, if you did 10 push-ups last session, your goal is to try and get 11 next session. If you did 11, the next session you got to try and get 12. Even if you get 12 and a half, that is still more progression than nothing at all. Now, a bonus tip I'm going to give you, one big piece of advice is I don't want you to count the calories burnt during your training session. Because number one, the calorie counters that we have these days, the Apple Watches, they can be off by as much as 40 to 50% error. So it's just much easier to look at your exercise as a bonus to your calories, and then just focus on worrying about your calories in. And then if something's not working, you only have to change one thing, which is the amount of food that you're eating, as opposed to adjusting for your exercise calories. Now, if you have any questions on that, guys, please post them in the comments below. I hope you found this helpful and insightful. If you feel like you need some extra guidance on a one-to-one level, I have 2 programs available. I have one-to-one online coaching, and I also have a Lean in 6 group, which I run every 6 weeks. All the details for those will be in the comments below. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.